Well, it's the best we got.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to yet another car review by your host, Greg, and
I have been an animated hat before.
that's Ken. And we just got out of Godzilla versus Kong. Was it Godzilla versus Kong, right? Or Kong versus Godzilla?
Usually I care a lot about titles. I haven't got it locked in my brain this time.
It's the big epic crossover everyone's been waiting for. Now, what I said at the end of Godzilla King of Monsters, when they showed that end credit sequence where it shows the drawing of Godzilla versus Kong,
Mm-hmm.
then I said that was a proper epilogue. And he said, "What do you mean by that? What does that mean? A proper epilogue?" And I thought, well, even if they don't do it, what it represents is the secrets of what has been and the promise of what to come.
Dope.
Because even if it was referencing a fight that has happened in the past, it'd be kind of cool to say, like, yeah, there was a connection between the two. And there might be one in the future, maybe. Because we've seen this before where people say, like, oh, yeah, it's total setup for the sequel, which never happened.
Mm-hmm.
He-Man being one of them. So, yeah, which is a shame. I kind of would like to have seen that.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I'm probably the only person on the planet who wanted to have seen that.
Hey, you know what? A sequel might have been an improvement.
Well, I know that the Skeletor's costume was reused in a possible Spider-Man movie, which was then turned into that one with Jean-Claude Van Damme, the one of his early works when he's not a Universal Soldier, but the one before that.
Was he in one of the Cyborg movies?
It's one of the ones. I remember seeing it, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. I saw that at my aunt's. So yeah, so this is the epic crossover everyone's been waiting for, and actually it was pretty good. It's an epic throwdown, and again it has the shoehorned in human characters, and it's like
less shoehorned in
than last
than in
time.
the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, less shoehorned in, but still their presence is not welcomed. I don't care if it is the girl from it's 11 from Stranger Things. She's in this, and I'm like, okay, as long as she doesn't pull her hair back, and then the next scene she pulls her hair back, and I'm like, don't fuck it, no, damn it. Now I'm going to expecting her to use her powers when she does that. It's like, just all you said to do was just not do that, and we would have had at least one less thing to gripe about.
You have been programmed. That's great. That's great. I'm glad that you had that response to it. So let me just real quick say, my thing on this whole American Godzilla multiverse or universe thing is I like my monster movies to be more monster movie and less superheroes that are monsters. And I also think they're very stupid. That doesn't mean they're not fun, but they're a bit too stupid for me to fully engage, right? And this one is one of the stupidest, but also, actually, I think is the one I like the best. Besides the first Kong, right? Besides just Kong.
Yeah.
I liked, oh man, Hollow Earth is so stupid, but it's also so much cooler than just Godzilla Temple.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's a callback to an unmade Godzilla movie from the Toho days.
And the way it's represented in this movie, that that type of Hollow Earth can only exist if you had the flat Earth take place in it too, because there's like no way that's set up in a round planet. It just doesn't. It just does not support that, and I call bullshit.
So the thing that's funny about it, right, is maybe the curvature is just not visible, because so the computer image of the power source coming up and the Hollow Earth we saw are clearly not the same planet. But the Hollow Earth we saw, there's something kind of interesting about the idea that there's as much mass on the bubble as there is on the inner Earth, which is free floating inside of it and not at a different rate, like they're in locked orbit.
And there's some sort of gravitational eddy, because why can't you just go willy-nilly go down there? So there's some gravitational eddy, you'll kill humans, except for this one type of spaceship we just managed to create. Granted, it's from Japan, but it's powered by some sort of energy thing. It's like, well, wait a minute, you have new type of energy propulsion. You don't explain what it is or how you developed it. It's just, we have Deus Ex shipping her.
Yeah.
We get down in there, and then later on, Godzilla blasts a hole through the planet into said chamber with very good accuracy, might I add.
Yeah.
And then they just fall right through that, and with no portal,
right,
with no portal to go through. And it's like, well, then why doesn't that just have a portal put onto it then if it has, special gravitational eddies on it then?
So there's, and the portal is, yeah, the portal is weird.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I think there's supposed to be a reference to, Land of the Lost or something? Is that what it's supposed to be?
No, so like Hollow Earth stuff is old and weird. And
no, the 70s Land of the Lost, not the 90s Land of the Lost.
It's not. It's not. But it's...
Yeah, they don't find Kirk down there either.
They have... Right. Well, they all have...
Because that's the thing with those 70s shows. It's like we have this, desolate place where it's like the most remotest place on the planet. No one could ever get to it, and they find like some other dude or people every other week. It's like, yeah, for the most scarcest and less populated place and hardest place to get to on Earth, it certainly has a lot of people coming in on the weekends. Watch anyone. The whole Land of the Lost anything. Trust me. There's always somebody that shows in over the weekend. It's like, I came in on a Zeppelin because I was here all along. And it's like, what? There are natives here. There are sleeve stacks. It's like, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, it turns out it's hard to make a TV show based only on an empty setting.
Yes. So, anyway, ignore that. That's trash.
That was not his wife. That was a bag of garbage.
Phrasing, Ken. Phrasing. Okay, so... but yeah, they did a lot of callbacks to the previous Godzilla versus Kong movie, where Kong gets re-energized by electricity. You've seen the original, right? Yeah, they did electricity. They had Kong shove a stick or whatever down Godzilla's mouth.
Yep.
They didn't really have them meet until, the hour mark? Something like that?
Actually, honestly, pretty early for one of these movies.
Yeah, pretty early. Because in the original one, they didn't have them meet until way until the third act.
Yeah. So I actually think one of the things I really liked about this movie is they just made the protagonist Kong, and he's a plucky, unlikely hero.
Yes.
And I think that's cool. I like the fact, real quick, talking about callbacks, or at least feelings. I like that they did the Universal Studios Kong ride for a moment in the Hollow Earth ship. Flew up and went past his and then they did the same thing for Godzilla riding his beam. And usually I think that kind of stuff is stupid. It worked out here. Okay, my favorite set piece. Kong leaping from building to building in Hong Kong. That was my favorite.
Yes.
Hands down.
I think that was as close to New York City skyline of the Twin Towers you're ever going to get.
It's a forgettable movie. It doesn't leave an impact, but it is cool to watch.
Yes.
And it's less stupid. And that's not true. It's more stupid, but it's less annoyingly stupid than King of Monsters.
Yeah.
And it's less boring.